up guys? Welcome back to GarageBoxTalk. Today we're talking about something a little bit controversial, maybe not controversial, but something that nobody wants to talk about in the CrossFit world anymore, and that is strict pull-ups versus kipping pull-ups. And I get this question a lot, and the question always is, should I do kipping pull-ups if I cannot do a strict pull-up? And if you don't know what a kipping pull-up is, I'll show you in a second. It's a CrossFit style pull-up that we've taken from gymnasts so we can be more efficient with pull-ups and just do them quicker, because that's normally the primary emphasis on CrossFit is work capacity, getting as much done as we can in a small amount of time. But I get the question a lot of if I should do a kipping pull-up if I can't do strict. And I'm going to use a little bit of logic to answer the question, as well as some thinking skills. But first, let's go over the difference between the two. So I'm going to do a strict pull-up, and that means that I am using no momentum generated from any other part of my body. I am just going to pull myself up with my arm. So those are strict pull-ups, and you can see why they're called strict. I'm using just my arms. Now with the kipping pull-up, what I'm going to do is I'm going to generate a little bit of momentum from my core using a gymnastic style kip, which is a transition between a hollow hold and a Superman. And there's two styles of kips. There's the butterfly and the regular gymnastics kick. I'll show you the regular gymnastics kip first. Good, so you can see there's a little bit of momentum generated in the hips, and I'm using that to give me a little bit of whip and carry me up over that bar. Now, this last one I'll do is the much more advanced, and it's the butterfly kip. It's using the same two positions, but if you watch me, what will happen is I'll go through my kip, and then when I pull up, instead of pushing away from the bar and coming back through, I will push myself down and through straight into that Superman, and then I'll whip back. And I'll basically create this circular motion through my shoulders. So that's the butterfly kip. And I gotta keep it a little tight because I got the wall right in front of me. But you can see the circular motion that's created, and it's the same two movements, right? That Superman and that hollow, but now I'm just skipping a step and going straight into that Superman when I come down from the bar. Now, back to the question of, should I do kips if I cannot do strict? And the first question you have to ask yourself is, what does a strict pull-up tell us? If I'm testing someone on their ability to do a strict pull-up, generally what I'm looking for is their upper body pulling strength. Right? The strength of the lats, the strength of the middle back, the deltoids, the biceps, to pull themselves, their mass, up to the bar. So if somebody cannot do a strict pull-up, what that tells me is that their muscles cannot generate enough force to move their body up. Right? Now, the kip allows us in a way to cheat. And what I mean is that I'm using momentum to give me a little bit of shove up to that bar. And most of the time, people can do a kipping pull-up. They can do a kipping pull-up, even though they can't do a strict, because they've created momentum. But the problem comes when they descend, right? Because if they cannot do a strict pull-up, what I know is that their muscles cannot generate enough force to control their body. They cannot pull themselves up. So what it tells me even further is that when they come down, they're not in very good control, because they've already expressed to me that they do not have the appropriate amount of strength to even get up. Does that make sense? So what I'm saying is that when you come down, because you've added momentum, and the kip is kind of like controlled chaos in a way, you are coming down with more force then you would come up doing a strict pull-up, because force equals mass times acceleration, right? The old physics equation. Mass being your weight in kilograms, and then force being gravity, because gravity, when you're falling from the bar, gravity has acted on you. You've allowed gravity to push you back down at 9.81 meters per second, if you really want to know, square. You've allowed gravity to act on you, which means the force that the muscles have to generate to express some kind of control over this descent is actually greater than their capacity in the first place, because you've already showed me that you cannot generate enough muscle force to pull you up over that bar. So now what we have is you're doing something beyond the capacity that your tissue can generate, can handle. So what ends up handling the force that we've created when we come down from a kip? If you can figure it out, it's not your muscles. It could be, but your muscles will start to break down because, like I said, we're beyond their capacity now. So what takes the blow is the tendons and the ligaments, and while they are elastic, they have their limits, especially when, one, you're already under fatigue, which we almost always are in our CrossFit Metcons, but two, you're using them like springs and you're doing most often high repetition pull-ups. And this is why shoulder injuries are so prevalent in CrossFit. You know, that's not the only reason, of course. Another reason is because we have so much pressing movements in CrossFit, and it's not balanced enough with pulling movements, and so we have some imbalances across the shoulder. But a big one I see is people doing kipping pull-ups that really shouldn't be doing kipping pull-ups. They're doing something beyond their capacity. But this is so difficult, and it's so difficult to get people to understand this and teach this because, like I said earlier, generally people can do a kipping pull-up even though they can't do a strict because they're using momentum. But what you have and what you will have eventually is wear and tear because we're beyond our abilities now. And we then have shoulder injuries, and that's why people think CrossFit is so dangerous, and that's why people think kipping pull-ups are so dangerous, but I can tell you from experience that they are not when they are within your capacity. When you can bust out 5+ strict pull-ups, kipping pull-ups are a breeze because you still have the control and the capacity to be able to do that. So in summation, if you cannot do a strict, you do not need to be doing kip. You do not need to put a kip in your pull-up. You need to work on your strict pull-up to build the strength, to build the capacity of the muscle tissue. That way, when you do introduce kipping pull-ups, there is no wear and tear. It is within your capacity. It is within the means of the tissue, and it can be done. So, unfortunately, as much as it sucks, if you cannot strict, you should not kip. Save your shoulders, save your body, do your body a favor, and don't give CrossFit a bad name because you injured your shoulder doing something that was beyond your means. And that is today's little talk. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, feel free to get in touch with me. Send me a message, leave me a comment. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you have a wonderful day.